And that's really how we came up with this concept of a social enterprise, with these 3 steps. And we're implementing this for these companies. And I'll tell you, the company that inspired us the most, and it's just karmic that he's here, honestly, because it is crazy, because there is nobody who appears in cities where I am more than Michael Dell. Everywhere I go, I'll be like, hey, where are you? Oh, I'm in London. What? Hey, where are you? Oh, I'm in Tokyo. What? And it's just this crazy thing. And he has really inspired me, and I think it's because, if you've read that book, Malcolm Gladwell and Outliers, he has been doing this a long time. He has been doing this, I think, longer almost than anyone. He has more insights, more interests, he is still more excited today than the day he started his company. That is what's awesome. And when you look at what he's done with his company in terms of turning it into a social enterprise, and I want to talk to him about this, is he has done a lot of things. And one of the very first things he did was he created one of the very first customer social networks of all times called Dell IdeaStorm. How many of you have heard of Dell IdeaStorm? Yeah. Where customers can go and collaborate him with in real time and building all these great new products. And he built all these customer communities. And he does social promotions. He's really active, actually, out on Twitter, on Facebook. And he walks his talk. If you follow him on Google+, it won't be surprised you to see, he's doing a hangout, and he's sitting there in his underwear talking to his customers at 3 a.m. It's unbelievable. It's pretty awesome. I don't know too many CEOs who walk the talk like that. He's got 30,000 users on our Sales Cloud. He has 125,000 users of Salesforce Chatter building his employee social network. And he's built custom apps and everything else. But I think we are just so lucky to be able to tap into him for just a few minutes right now. And then this afternoon, I'm going to interview him for an hour in depth on his views of all the change that's going on the industry. But would you please give a very strong and warm welcome to really a great leader of our industry, Michael Dell.
Thank you, Mark.
Michael.
Thank you. I'd just like to clarify that I always wear more than my underwear when I'm online. So.
All right. Sorry. Is it your biking outfit? I think it was. But it is impressive, isn't it? I mean, it's not a joke. You are on Google+, and you are doing Hangouts and just hanging out with customers in real time. And how many of those have you done?
Oh, I've done a few. If I think about how did this actually start for me, when I was in high school, and we grew up about the same time, about the same age, I had one of these electronic bulletin boards that I was operating, when I was in high school, and those were obviously the precursor to CompuServe and the web and AOL, and now you have all this great stuff. And when we started our business, it was all about kind of listening and learning. And when we started with our first product, we wanted to have feedback from customers. And so how did you do that in the late 1980s? We had a little postcard, right, that we put in the box, and it was called a Dear Michael letter, okay? And customers would say, well, I like this, or you can improve that, and they'd write comments. And I would just read every single one of these. Now, of course, as the company grew, it sort of became impossible. Like, well, how do you do that? millions of times, reading all these. So we're always looking for better ways.
I bet you still actually were reading a lot of them yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But how do you do that? With millions, and tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and so now we have these incredible tools that enable us to listen, learn, collaborate, and more quickly assimilate that information to make better products and better services. So it's all good.
What can you just give us one, like when you've been on these Hangouts, the last few Hangouts you've been doing, what have you learned? Does everybody know what a Google Hangout is, by the way? So on Google+, there's a feature, and the feature is you have your social network that you've built. Michael has one of the largest networks on Google+. He's very proud of that. All these people have, basically come in and friended him. And then they have basically a feature where you could say, hey, I just want to hang out with people. You don't choose who you're going to hang out with. and he just hits the button and then loads up, 10, 20 people into the session?
It supports 10 right now.
Yeah.
10.
And they're just basically random people, and you're hanging out with them and talking to them.
I always love interacting with our customers or users, and what's interesting to me about Google Plus is, it's kind of the new thing. And so what do you get? You get the early adopters. And early adopters are fascinating people because they're always doing new things, different things. It's like, well, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? What's working? What's not working? What have you found that's interesting? What do you like about this? What do you not like about it? And so, it's just a lot of fun. So I just love this stuff.
So I think one of the things that was interesting to me is to seeing you do that. I don't think there is any other vehicle where you can just randomly go out and just talk to 10 people, and choose them and have that conversation, and it's across.
Not all over the world,
Yeah.
right? Because
I'm sure there's 10 people here who would love to talk to you. But it's a little different.
You do this,
right?
and you get somebody in Nigeria,
Right.
and somebody in Indonesia, and a lot of students, I found a lot of software programmers. Like, maybe half the people on there are software developers.
Software's not so bad. I tell you, software's not that bad.
We like software. We like software.
Yeah.
So, it's fascinating.
So
to
is it a
see.
social revolution? Is that how you look at it?
Sure, you could call it that. I think of it as better ways of collaborating and sharing.
That was my alternative title, actually.
Probably not as snappy,
Right,
but,
right.
if I look at our business, we're doing a lot of new things. We have 110,000 people, and we're always, adding new product lines and new services, new capabilities. How do we share that information quickly across the organization? When our team in Norway has a fantastic success with, a customer, how does that information, propagate across the organization very, very rapidly? And we're using tools like Chatter that really help us do that.
Now, I want to just give you some kudos because you're not just using Chatter, you kind of have led the Chatter implementation inside Dell. You have more than 100,000 users of Chatter. You were, I think, the very first Chatter customer ever. What's been your experience? What insight have you gotten from Chatter? Or what have you been able to do with Chatter? I know we had an example where you saw some of your salespeople working with a large telecommunications company, and they were having trouble communicating with manufacturing. You were able to jump in and resolve that issue for them. But what are on large scale having an employee social network done for you?
I think there are a couple things. I think one is being able to recognize successes, and that's very, very powerful in a large organization because you want to encourage people to continue to do the things that are working and that are driving the company forward. There's clearly an element of speed as we're doing new things. Mm-hmm. So we just bought a company called Force 10 Networks, and
great company.
Salesforce is a customer. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
My pleasure.
And
great. Where'd you get the great idea to buy it? Okay.
Thank you even more. And Klaus Mold, thank you to Klaus. And so, we learned from our customers. So now we have this fantastic technology in data center networking and switching technology. How do we then get that news and that information and that knowledge out to the tens of thousands of people that we have communicating with our customers, to 75,000 partners that work with us, around the world? And then how do we get the engineers in the Silicon Valley office working with the engineers in the Austin office so that server, storage, networking, and you get the team in Minnesota developing storage. We have Tel Aviv, Nashua, New Hampshire. How do you get these teams collaborating and sharing so you get the better together products and solutions much more rapidly? And, collaboration is really, really key for us. Tools like Chatter make a huge difference.
Well, we want to go into more detail with you, and you've been very generous to take out an hour this afternoon, and I would like to do a detailed conversation of how you see all the changes going on in the industry, the device side, the social network side. I'd like to talk about some of the bigger world issues that are going on, but just very grateful to have you here today. Thank you.
Great. It'll be fun. Thank
terrific.
You, Mark.
Please thank Michael Dell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Michael is amazing because, he's still has the passion and the energy and the excitement, and no matter what the paradigm is, he's ready to kind of move forward and say, okay, I'm going to go do that, I'm going to create that, I'm going to lead that. And one of my mentors and really somebody who inspires me on a continuous basis, so I'm so excited he's here today, and we're going to have an amazing conversation with him one-on-one this afternoon. But he has created a social enterprise. He's created Chatter for his 125,000 employees and his mobile workforce. He has 30,000 people on Salesforce's Sales Cloud. He's got a solution advisor program, and he has this incredible partner sales portal, and built all kinds of interesting custom apps on our technology and the ideas technology, and on and on and on and on and on. And we put a few of these ideas. But he is learning more about his customers, and he's able to serve his customers in exciting new ways. And that is a social enterprise, and he bought obviously Force 10, and the company that really built and inspired his whole social media command center, which is his NOC for monitoring all these social enterprises. He inspired us to work with them, and that is amazing.